The Lead Guitar Virtual Showcase is brought to you by our friends at Guitar Salon International Foundation and Cordoba Guitars. Today's guest is Zach Filkins, guitarist of the band OneRepublic. Bienvenidos a todos, estamos muy contentos de que podáis estar con nosotros. Here's your host, Brad Richter.
Hello and welcome to the second Lead Guitar Virtual Showcase. I'm Brad Richter, co-founder and executive director of Lead Guitar, joining you from our home office at the University of Arizona in Tucson. A little background information. Lead Guitar is a charity that helps schools start guitar programs, to put it simply. We believe, as I'm sure all of you do, that every child everywhere should have access to music education and instruments. And like our friends at Guitar Salon International Foundation and Cordoba Guitars, we see the guitar and its global appeal across cultures and generations as a great way to broaden access and create community. And that's what we want to do with this show as well. The show is interactive, so have your guitar ready. I've got a couple ready just in case. And if you're learning guitar or you'd like to begin, or if you play well already but you'd like to learn to read music or refine your technique, you can access the Lead Guitar YouTube lessons channel at home anytime. It should be appearing here at the bottom of your screen. As these shows evolve, we'll refer to songs and skills you'll encounter in the lead guitar method. And Professor Denis Azabagic will be here to help you navigate some of the tougher techniques you'll encounter in our method or anywhere. Today's show, we've got a really incredible guest artist in Zach Filkins, the guitarist from OneRepublic. He'll join us for an interview. He'll get to hear some of our students play a solo. They'll get to ask him some questions, and we'll do the mass play along of Counting Stars, which is going to be super cool. So there are two other guitar orchestra play alongs. Our first one is Redemption Song by Bob Marley. That's coming right up. And we'll end the show with a Bach Minuet, which is beautiful and fun to hear in 4-part harmony. Also, we'll have that learning segment with Professor Denis. He's going to work with us on how to make better bar chords, which is something we all need a little help on. And like I said, we'll hear those three outstanding lead guitar soloists, all at various levels, various stages in their development, but all have mastered the piece that they're working on and played it beautifully for us to hear and share with you. So let's start with really one of the most enjoyable things we get to do, play along together. So this is Redemption Song by Bob Marley. I picked this to go first because it's a beautiful, happy little tune and easy for us to play and read along with, even if you haven't had a chance to see the score already. So as you see the video that plays by for the play along, you'll see our students, teachers, and some of our instructors playing the piece, and the score, or at least the notation for the melody line, will be scrolling along as the video plays. So that's how you can play along. A couple of tips. The melody goes like this. And it's in first position, so it's a simple thing in the sense that we're just assigning one finger to each fret. Our third finger plays the D, our second finger plays the A, our first finger plays the C. So look out for that as it goes by. You'll hear 8 click tones, beeps, to kind of set the tempo for us, and then we'll get started playing. So enjoy playing Redemption Song by Bob Marley with students, teachers, and lead guitar instructors from around the country. Here we go. right. Well, that's a great way to start off our playing together, and it's a sweet melody. It always puts me in a good mood, and not that hard to play either. So I hope you enjoyed playing along with that. I'm really excited about the next segment of the show. To introduce our guest, Zach Filkins is guitarist and co-founder of the band OneRepublic. Their new album, Human, will be out this fall. I've already been listening, Zach, to Didn't I and Rescue Me and some of the other early release singles. Zach, congratulations on an amazing body of work, and welcome. We're really honored to have you joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm definitely honored to be here.
Well, Zach, I want to start with I don't mean to embarrass you with this, but I was reading your biography, of course, and I was really taken by how many things you're good at. So First of all, I mean, we all know about the success with OneRepublic, but you're a marathon runner. You speak fluent Spanish. You also play viola, drums, you sing. You used to be, this is a fun trivia, you were a model, and a quite successful one. And but the reason I want to bring that up is that all takes drive and discipline and focus. And so what is it, what characteristics do you think allowed you to be so successful and driven in so many different ways? And I ask because I think it's really good advice for our kids.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. First of all, I do need to clear up. I only play the secrets part the secrets part on viola. I didn't learn like the whole viola. So all those string players out there know, hats off to you. I just learned like one part. I don't want anyone to think of me I'm better than I am. But I think to your question, I definitely think there's kind of a drive for variety inside of me, and I think a lot of other people. And it's kind of it's one of the reasons why I got into playing guitar. It's that thing in you that when you see someone else doing something, you instantly think that looks fun. I would love to do that. And that's honestly how I started guitar. I heard a few different songs with an amazing guitar solo on it, and I thought, man, that would be awesome. You know what I mean? I want to do that. And so I think it kind of it drives that variety in you when you want to kind of taste all the flavors.
So speaking of first guitar, you had you started as a classical guitarist, and not only a classical guitarist, but you were studying in Barcelona, Spain, if I remember right. So mm-hmm. how did that, as your starting point, influence your ability to be a good band member, a songwriter? How did it help, if it did, with all of the other styles of music you've played and mastered since then?
I think number one, when you start classically, I think you start from a foundation that really gives you confidence, I think, to try anything. I think classical guitar is probably one of the most difficult disciplines in the guitar category. So I think it kind of gives you that confidence that, well, if I learned this song, which is really intricate, then this song, which is a little simpler, but maybe just has one different thing that I don't know about yet, is not going to be that hard of a challenge because I already surmounted this challenge. And I think that's probably the case for every instrument. If you learn classically, it's like you overlearn, and then you come to a style like OneRepublic, which is more on the pop side, and things simplify, right? So there's a confidence there. And I also think I learned the discipline of practice and really the value of doing something over and over and over again. When you do that repetitively, as a lot of us know, you start to sense that you're feeling the song more than you're thinking about it. And that's when you start to play in a way that really kind of captures people's attention. You know, initially when you're learning, you're just a little more robotic, right? But with every repetition, you start to feel it more. It's second nature. Then you can involve your emotions with it. So I think that was probably a lesson that I learned and brought into OneRepublic.
That's really well described. Those are my favorite moments in music, where you're comfortable enough in whatever it is you're physically doing that you can let go and let the music speak. And it's hard to get to that place. And I agree. You almost overlearn with classical in some ways. And it gives you that ability to relax a little bit more when you're playing anything that's even a little simpler than that, and makes it enjoyable. Another thing I noticed about OneRepublic that I really dug, which I didn't realize until I started looking. So I should say I've had the album Native since it came out. Me and my three sons are all big fans, and
Nice.
we're also some big soccer fans. And "Love Runs Out" was the theme of the 2014 World Cup.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but. What I thought was really cool is, so obviously the albums have a very pop sound and, you know, a lot of appeal and a little more electronic sound. But when you're live, it's all rock and roll band, and it's like the same accuracy, the same tight songs, the same tight playing, but done with this kind of old school rock and roll energy that I really dug. So is that a conscious decision? Did you say we want to be this when we're live, or is it a combination of that plus that studio sound is difficult to duplicate, so let's do something else great?
That's a good question. I definitely think it really showcases how we as a band are very bipolar, in the sense that we like the pop world, and we found ourselves kind of sitting in the pop world, but all of us are, you know, we've been playing music for almost our entire lives, and we grew up listening to all the Brit rock bands, and I love all the classic rock, you know, and there's so much more musicality in those songs, that I think it became a conscious decision, like, okay, this is like our studio music, and that's really what kind of gets us out into the world. But if someone's going to become a fan and pay a ticket and come to see us, we want to give them more than just that. And we also want to give ourselves more than just that. So we do a lot of that selfishly so that we can just add more musicality to the show and more variety. And we also do it for the fans as well. And we started, you know, not everybody knows, but we started as a rock alternative band. And our first single was like Doves meets Radiohead, you know, and we thought we were just going to be like this super legit rock band, you know, and that was really as rock and its sort of modern context was really shifting. That was around 2004 when everything started moving around, and even though our first single or two singles were rock songs with guitar driven tracks, it was the remix to Apologize that really put us on the map. So we've always had two personalities and tried to balance both of those.
I love that, and it probably makes for healthy balance within the band too. You get that energy release when you get to play live, and it feels like it probably did when you were in high school playing in a band, and everything was live and a little reckless in the sense that things can go wrong. Right. Nothing's recorded. Yeah. Oh, I love that. So we got to meet just as you were signing on. You met three students that we were going to have on the show with us. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to selfishly take up all the time asking the questions that I want to ask you. So we're going to invite our first student. They've each recorded a video of them playing a solo. So we'll watch their video. I'm sorry, I'm making the table shake. We'll watch their video together. And then they'll each have a question that they want to ask you as well. So we're first going to roll Spencer from City High in Tucson, and he is playing Maria Luisa by Julio Segreras. So we'll sit back and enjoy Spencer. Oh,
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
man, you have grown so much as a player, and I heard you exactly a year ago, last month. Well, I guess not exactly, but in the master class with Andrew York and Alex DeGrassi here at the university. So you've gotten only better. Really proud of the work you've put in, Spencer.
Thank you. I'm really proud of how far
one
I've
other
grown
question
so
for you,
far.
Spencer. What are you going to do next year? You're a senior, right?
Yeah,
What's
I'm
next?
planning on going to the U of A to major in music education.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely, you know, I got to say, when watching someone play a piece like that, it just reminds me of the sheer amount of time that goes into getting into a piece like that. You know, that's a lot. I mean, for those who don't read music, they need to know that's like sheets of paper that are being like encapsulated in the mind and the body, and that's I applaud that, man, because it's an amount of time that goes into investment, and that's the return on the investment. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. And Spencer, do you have a question for Zach?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, as someone who is just getting started in, the band circuit, you've had you've had a really long and successful career with OneRepublic. What is something you wish you would have known getting started and founding the band?
One of the biggest things that I wish we had known, especially probably in the first 4 or 5 years of our professional life, which is probably from when Apologize took off onward, that you still have to do everything on your own. You still have to manage your entire business, from the money side to the production side to creativity, to your own development. I think a lot of people know now how DIY it is when you're first starting out and you're trying to have some record labels kind of get what you're doing and come alongside you, or even those that are starting completely independent of record labels, they still know how DIY it is to get there, right? But once you do, you need more than one song that everyone gravitates to, or you'll come and go. You need to consistently develop yourself as an artist. There's a lot of work that goes into it. I think we probably relaxed a little too much when we got to that one step of the ladder, thinking like, okay, now all the people that are coming alongside us, that's agents, managers, everything, now they're gonna do their job and we don't have to worry about it. The truth of the matter is, you constantly have to look at all that. Even though you have professionals that are coming alongside you, you constantly need to be, steering your own ship, and don't relax or let someone else do, the work, in a sense.
Not surprising at all that that's the answer. It's really hard to have the discipline over time to keep up that level of effort. And all of the successful artists I've ever spoken to over time have managed that. Find a way to keep reinventing themselves, pushing themselves, and keeping it interesting. Yeah, good question, Spencer. So let's hear another student. We've got Layla in Los Angeles. Let's pause for a second. I'll start her video, and we'll bring Layla on to meet her. Spencer, hang on with us too if you'd like to, and let's let Layla's video roll.
That's awesome.
Way to go, Layla. That was fantastic. And Layla, I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce the name of your song, which is Lion and Mouse, and that you were playing with our friend Jackson Williams, who's our regional director for Los Angeles. Layla's beautiful playing. Thank you very much. So, Layla, how long have you been playing guitar now?
A year or two, I'm not sure.
Did you start at the beginning of your school year at Sendak Elementary?
No, at 4th grade.
Oh, in 4th grade. That's great. And one of the things that I find difficult about what you did is those are two very difficult parts to line up. And you've got to listen very carefully to what Jackson's doing and keep that tempo. And you did that beautifully. Nicely done.
Thank you.
And Layla, I bet you've got a question for Zach too. What would you like to ask?
When did you start playing guitar, and when did you join their band?
What was the second question?
When did you start the band?
Okay. I started playing guitar. I was probably about 8.5. And I started with a classical teacher. I didn't start the band till about 2003. So I was around, how old was I, 25 years old, something like that.
Zach, when did you start your first band?
Well, that was really my first official band. I did play some music with some friends in college before that. I don't think we played maybe one live show, but really OneRepublic, joining the band with Ryan was really like my first official attempt at a band, I would say.
It was a pretty successful first attempt.
Yeah. But looking back now, I realize how lucky we may have been.
Yeah, that's very hard to be that successful in that field. Layla, we're very proud of you. Great playing. And please stay on with us if you want to, and you can listen to Pau, who's up next to play a piece for us. So I believe Pau introduces his piece himself at the beginning of the song. So I'll let him introduce the piece, and we'll let it roll.
Awesome.
Hello everyone, my name is Pau, and today I will be playing for you a song called Canción de Amor. Hope you like it.
Fantastic. That
Nice
was
work.
really great.
Nice work.
So, Pal, question for you. So I didn't have a chance to say that you're from Alhambra High School in Phoenix,
Yes,
and um, you've done a great job with that piece. And the reason I was thinking of your school is, of course, at school we have all nylon string guitars, and at home you've got a steel string guitar. Do you ever find it difficult to transfer, practicing all day at school and then practicing at home with a steel string, playing, I assume, that some of the same pieces?
oh yeah, I do have a problem. It's like it's hard, because at school where we practice with like classical guitar, which is like is pretty and is like how would I say, like is very different from a string guitar, and like compared to the string guitar and the classical, I found it really difficult playing with the string guitar. Like
I do too. Yeah,
But
I still like it. Oh,
you
sorry,
made
Zach.
that sound. Oh no, I was going to say it's hard to play a piece like that on a steel string, and you made that sound really, really beautiful. So nice job. And I know your fingers, they hurt when you practice a lot of pieces like that on a nylon or on a steel string. But that sounded really nice.
thank you.
And that's a piece by Maria Linneman, if I remember right. Is that
Yes.
the composer?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I haven't heard it before, but I really like it. And Pal, do you have a question for Zach?
Yes, I do have a question. So,
Good.
like, as you are like a very successful musician and other more, I have a question that what does it mean for you to be successful at music?
Well, it means a lot. I think I would think back to when we were first starting out and nobody wanted to go to our shows. We had maybe 5 people at our shows, and every single night we played, I would come home just kind of dejected, thinking no one wants to hear our music. And with enough time, you start to really feel like maybe I shouldn't do this. You know what I mean? So when it finally took off and experiencing the success that we have, I think we are, as a band, are just extremely thankful that we moved out of that stage and that we're able to travel the world and play this music for people. We never take it lightly because we look back at all those years of wondering whether anyone really cared. And I think that translates to anything. It's not just music, but it translates to anything that we want to offer the world. A lot of times in the beginning, we feel that no one really cares. And I think if we're lucky enough and strong enough to push through and keep trying, eventually something will happen.
It's really good advice, and I think one of the things we all learn about music is it's the discipline we get from not giving up. You were mentioning earlier, Zach, what can sometimes be the tedium of playing something over and over and over and over again. But I think that's where a lot of not only the guitar learning comes in, but the learning about how to handle some other situations in life. Not many of our students are going to become musicians. We want them to be engineers and doctors and nurses and teachers. When they become musicians, that's exciting too. So, and you're hearing a couple of our kids that play at a level above our average. But those lessons you apply to everything you do in life, and I think it's valuable stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Pal, we're sure proud of you. That's great playing, and thank you for submitting that video for us.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll see you soon. And we're going to segue now into a part of the show that I'm particularly excited about. I'm a big fan of the song Counting Stars. And so, Zach, you very kindly made a special arrangement of the introduction for us. And just like our students who've sent in videos from Chicago, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Colorado, Oklahoma, you're going to play right along with us, and it's going to be pretty cool. So anything you want to say about Counting Stars before we roll tape?
No, the only thing I think that's really interesting about Counting Stars, it's kind of an interesting comment on the music industry. When we put that on the album, hardly anybody thought it was going to be anything but just a song that got buried on an album. And we always look back at that and kind of laugh, because it's like nobody knows until you really know. You know what I mean? And we got a lot of people that said, no, we don't think that's a single. We don't think that's going to work. And it just turns out that it worked. So you just never know.
It seems like that's the story of so many of the greatest hits of all time. Not to get off on a tangent, but I was watching the movie La Bamba the other night. And of course, that is that scene, you know, the producer says, well, you can't sing a song in Spanish.
Yeah.
And, and, you know, the rest is history.
Totally.
Yeah.
This was kind of similar.
Well, Zach, this is really exciting. And thank you so much for being on the show with us. Thank you so much for contributing to this video with us. And now that I know you're in Chicago, I'd love to look you up there sometime and take you out to lunch. And anyway,
Yes.
You're a sweet, friendly guy, and thank you for your generosity of time and spirit.
Of course. Thanks for letting me be a part of this.
All right, well, let's roll Counting Stars. Here we go. And sorry, I should say too, just like all of our other count-ins, you're going to hear a couple of click tones before it begins. But first, Zach is going to play an introduction, and then he gives us 4 really clear beats on the guitar, and then we're all going to start right there after those 4 clear beats. So you'll see the score scrolling by right when that starts. Easy to play along, just like our other ones. So have fun and dig in. Grab your guitar. I'm going to too. right. Well, that was pretty cool. And what an amazing thing to have Zach Filkins on our show. I hope you guys enjoyed that too. Not very often that we get to play guitar with a rock star. So speaking of stars, we've got another really great guest, and it's almost weird to call you a guest, Dennis, because you're part of the lead guitar family. Dennis Azabagic is our regional director for Chicago. He's professor at Roosevelt University in Chicago, and he's an international concert artist. Dennis, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, and congratulations on having Zach. This is really fantastic to hear him as well on this show.
It was fun, and I like the soloists too. We had, and I liked having not just the kids that have been playing the longest, but some kids from every level that have worked hard. Because I think there's beauty and perfection we can put into a piece of music, no matter how simple it is, and we saw that in our students.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just no matter how hard is the piece or how easy, the question is to master it and to express yourself. Yes.
So, Dennis, what are you going to teach us today?
Well, today I was thinking of addressing this little thing that many of us have a problem, and that's bar chords. And just with this song by OneRepublic, you have several opportunities there to really dig into that bar issue. So let me just say how I approach it. I have two ways. One way is I'm thinking of a bar, of having this mechanism of my hand, my index finger that holds the bar and my thumb that counteracts the force, and I use it as a one clamp on my fretboard to hold my guitar and to play the bar, right? But the other way also, or actually it's auxiliary or something that will help us, it's also to use our entire body to strengthen the grip on that bar. And that is by using your arm, so basically your bicep that will be pulling towards you. So when you put a bar, you can use your arm to pull it, but now you also have to use your chest to push against the guitar and use your right forearm that's here on the guitar, counteracting that force that is used by the left hand. So it's almost like you're hugging your whole instrument, like you hug your buddy after this whole Corona situation. You can just hug somebody as hard as you can, right? So hug your guitar and pinch it with these two fingers to get the bar. You can also build it up by doing the following. So do this little exercise, which is use your first index finger on a fifth fret of the first string, play just that simple note, one note, first string, then use just a tiny portion of your finger, the tip of it, and place it on two strings, and place those two strings, so that you get like a feeling of how do you, by incremental change on your fretboard, how you maintain that pressure and produce a good tone. So here it is again, two strings only, and you can notice that very often I also collapse my finger into sort of an L when I make a small bar. So here it is, two strings, that's clear for me. I'll go into three strings, keep climbing. Three strings are also clear, sometimes use and play string by string, third, second, and first. And keep climbing. The moment you come to the fourth string, you have to extend the entire finger, and that's when I start hugging my guitar and just get into it a little bit more. Grab it, chest forward, my left arm pushes, my thumb squeezes, my right forearm also holds my guitar, and here I come to the whole six strings. Also very important, think of these three guys here, these three fingers, second, third, and fourth. Don't use them, especially the second one. Don't use them to help your bar. This is very common. I would say it's a crutch. It can help you initially, but if you start relying on it too much, it's just going to get you in trouble, because that's not what you want to do. You want to have both other fingers free so that they can do. Let me see here. I move to the fourth position. I add other three fingers. Here's my C sharp minor. I move to the seventh position. Here's my E major, B major, and A major. So very often you just heard me say fourth position. What does that mean? Fourth fret, first finger on the fourth fret, that's the fourth position. We don't play anything below that. That's our fourth position. In your music, that will be indicated by the Roman numerals. Number 4, IV, right? Fifth, Here it is. V for the fifth position. Seventh, VII, right? Seventh position. That's it. Keep practicing.
That was great, Dennis. Although the end it looked like VV.
I don't know how else to put two separate.
So you taught us something that I hadn't really practiced or used when teaching students, and I think it's really important. Two things really: the incremental deployment of that bar. So you're trying it first. You try how does the bar work with two fingers before you try to do, two strings before you try to do six strings, and this is something I need to deploy in my own playing. This idea of kind of, you said hugging, which is a beautiful way to describe that. It also feels like you've got the guitar in a little bit of a vice, the way, this arm is going this way and this is pulling back and you're using your body. It makes complete sense. Good advice, Dennis. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I will a little bit exaggerate if I say hug it really hard. Not really. You just have to, feel it's a part of your body. You have a good grip. It does really become part of your body because you can really move along and not use that connection, that balance between the hands and arm and your guitar and the fingers, of course. So yeah, there is a certain strength involved, but you also develop it over years, that strength both in fingers and your body, how to hold your guitar. In a sense, it's a tight, but it's also loose.
Yeah. Well, great explanation. Thank you, Dennis. Will you stay on with us and play along with Minuet? And well, it's Minuet in A minor, really, but we've transposed it to G minor. Our friend Zhivko has. Play along with us if you don't mind, and I'll introduce the next one. So this, it's funny. We've transposed this to G minor. Which is a little confusing because there's a very famous Bach Minuet in G, but this is not this. This was originally in A minor, and I'll show you that it has something quite in common with that Bach Minuet in G that we all know so much. But the melody you'll see at the beginning, and this time we're going to show all four parts of the score as the play along goes. But we have. Oh. Oops, let me try that again. Right, that is kind of the beginning of the melody, the first part. But what I thought was interesting is this moment. Oops. Well, you get the idea. Sorry, I'm messing this all up, but it sounds just like that sequence in the Minuet in G. How's that go? Right. Anyway, several parts that are easy to just sight read, including the one that's on the third line, the third staff of the system. So grab your guitar, just like before. Well, this time you should hear 6 click tones because we're in 3/4. But get ready, play along. Let's have fun. All right. Well, that sounded really great, and I hope you've enjoyed these play-alongs. It calls on our sight reading a little bit if you haven't had a chance to review the score, but that's a healthy thing for all of us to be doing. So this has been a really fun experience for me personally, Dennis. It's great to have you on the show, and I want to say too that you being on the show. we developed this idea together. So it's great to have you always a part of it, and always makes me feel like I'm in my living room if I get to do something like this with you.
Well, when this is all over with the situation that we found ourselves in, we'll definitely do it once being together in the room.
Well, anything you want to say to our students, Dennis, before we sign off?
Well, I was mentioning before when we were doing our little segment on the bars, right? Use your whole body to hug it. So instead of hugging your friends for the time being, hug your guitar. So you'll get ready when this whole situation is over, and we get outside and we get to be with our loved ones and people we haven't seen in a long time. So you can start hugging them as you're hugging your guitar.
That's a great way to put it. Thank you, Dennis. So we've reviewed the show a couple of times and talked about all the fun things we got to do, the interview with Zach and the play-alongs, meeting those students and hearing their solos, the learning segment. This is what we want the show to be moving forward, and we're really looking forward to starting it up in the fall in a more official way. Maybe we can even do some of this in person. But stay tuned over the summer so you can see when the next show is going to end up being, and we'll let you know about the play-alongs and stuff ahead of time too. Last month on the show, we told you about how Guitar Salon International Foundation and Cordoba Guitars have been collaborating with Lead Guitar to deliver guitars to talented students with no instrument of their own, certainly no instrument of their own at home. GSI Foundation also took the lead in helping us, Lead Guitar, fund free guitar programs in Los Angeles public schools starting just this year. So please visit the GSI Foundation website. That should be appearing somewhere around here. If you'd like to help us with those efforts, it's important, it's ongoing, and as this crisis continues, the equity in education and music education, the difference between the haves and have-nots is only going to get wider, as we're all seeing. So, and as I said last time, this is a tough time, but it's an especially tough time for kids. But I am so proud of all of you who have stayed tuned into your school and to guitar playing. You have shown the kind of focus, discipline, and determination that it takes to do great things. So remember to keep playing over the summer break, get outside where you safely can, and take good care of the people you love. We're all in this together, and we'll see you soon.